About 3 or 4 days ago, I sat down and talked to a client about some laboratory results from some air sampling that we had collected, and wanted to just chat with you about it for a few minutes because it's not intuitive about how to read a laboratory report. And all lab reports are the same, the way that they present the findings. When you collect an air sample, in this business, we all use the same stuff. It's an impact plate for non-viable analysis. That means it doesn't grow. It's just a sticky plate. We submit a sample to the lab, and we either collect 75 liters or 150 liters of air. Well, the laboratory reads the slide, and then they give you the report. And there are always 4 columns in the report. The first column is the genera, or the type of mold that it's found. The next is what's referred to as the raw count, and then the reported value, and then the percentage of what is found compared to the total of what is found. The raw count is just the individual spores that the technician sees when they look under a microscope. And then the reported value is something a little different. You take the number of spores and you multiply it by something. What they're doing is the laboratory report presents the data in spores per cubic meter, but you're collecting 75 or 150 liters. And so the laboratory has to convert liters into cubic meters. What they do is if you're doing 75 liters, they divide 75 into 1,000 because there are 1,000 liters in 1 cubic meter. So 75 goes into 1,000 13.33 times. The laboratory reports it as 13. If they see 1 spore, they're going to report it as 13. So that's how it becomes multiplied. If you collect 150 liters, well, 150 goes into 1,000, 6.66, blah, blah, 7. So they report it as 7. The reason why you need to understand this is you have 1 spore, and the laboratory report shows not, say, 13, but they report 26. The volume of the air that you collected, but the laboratory only read half the slide. And you become multipliers of that when you are only reading a quarter of the slide. If you can imagine a technician having 100 slides and they're getting paid by the piece, they're going to try to go through those slides as fast as they can. So a good quality lab will read the entire slide, because the slide is not all the same. You'll have a high density and a low density. And air is very heterogeneous. It's not homogeneous at all. You have big balls, little balls. You have debris in the air. You have little particles. The more volume you can collect, the more representative your sample will be of the environment. Just be aware there's a difference between raw value, reported value, and where the term reported value comes from. The percentage of a genera that is identified is just simply what is the percent of that individual mold compared to all the other ones. Aspergillus penicillium could be just 25% of the total, or cladosporium could be 30%, but it'll give you a percentage, because there are molds that shouldn't be found in a house in much quantity. It does tell you a story, and it's important that you hire a consultant that can not just collect the samples, but interpret the data. I was giving a presentation to a professional group, and I told them, I don't get paid to collect samples. I get paid to interpret data, because the data is what tells you the story of what's happening in the house or building, whatever. Bob Bennett, Farsight Management. It's better to use Farsight than hindsight.